What's up, A to Z Sports Live on this trade deadline Halloween Tuesday on A to Z Sports. Going to have a big time show because a lot of trade drama still surrounding Titans star running back Derrick Henry. Was that game against the Falcons where he went over 100 yards in Will Levis's first start the last game that Derrick Henry will play for this franchise? We will know for sure by the end of this afternoon. The trade deadline today in the NFL is 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we're all awaiting that. There's been a lot of rumors really going on for nearly a full week. Once, Buck reported last Wednesday about the Titans getting more interest in Derrick Henry after having no interest last Monday pre-Kevin Byard trade. So a lot has changed. A lot of reports have come out, and conflicting reports have come out. And that's honestly been created by the Titans front office for being indecisive. So we will discuss what that means, get your input as well, and how Will Levis's debut should or could have changed the Titans' willingness to move Derrick Henry, and whose decision will it ultimately be to pull the trigger if that's what happens. Then we'll discuss Will Levis and what Mike Vrabel had to say about Ryan Tannehill's health and everything moving forward. Quick turnaround as the Titans play on Thursday Night Football coming up in just 2 days from now. Throw in shade at the end and a happy Halloween to everybody. Zach, I guess we have graduated from the dressing up on Halloween phase. Just too much stuff going on, right?
Yeah, life comes at you.
I thought about it, but I just too much stuff.
I mean, I've got an old Guy Fieri costume, always ready to go in my closet. So.
You never know when you're gonna need it.
You never know when you gotta put the blonde hair on with the visor, throw some sunshades on, and then get like a 2.5 men shirt. And
I will say, I did think about doing a Will Levis impression with like the headband around with the hair over it with like the eye block that's kind of like, but I didn't want to go too cringy on it. But hey, I think we've graduated past that point. But hey, have fun out there if you're going out there with your kids or whatever you're doing for Halloween tonight.
Man, we're in the no fun league now.
Yeah, it happens real fast.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, we've got a big show in store for everybody in the chat and everybody all across the globe, as you can watch this show on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll also got the audio version afterwards, so you can listen to that on Spotify or Apple iTunes podcast app. We got you covered there. But we will, if you're watching live, tweet out segment by segment on our Twitter/X handle at A to Z Sports. Make sure that you follow us there. We got great socials as we are over 25,000, which is always nice. And we got good content, good people running that handle at A to Z Sports. Give us a follow there. But subscribe to this channel. If you're watching right now, you're watching somehow, some way. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you've hit the subscribe button. We're over 15K subscribers, which is good. Now we turn our attention towards 20K. That is on the horizon. We got a good film breakdown on A to Z Sports Film Room. You can search that and subscribe there. They're over 20,000 subscribers. If you're an NFL fan, that's a great subscription service on YouTube. And if you've already subscribed, which I know a lot of people have, make sure you hit the like button on this show. How it works is if you like the show, it helps the algorithm and helps more Titans fans and NFL fans get in on the conversation. We want their opinions. We want their conversation. We want them a part of our community. Facebook, what's going on? Facebookers, bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. So share the show around. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. And let's get this party started on a Halloween Tuesday, October 31st.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai and WilsonCountyHyundai.com. to make them a part of your new car buying process. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, keeping your information safe online, and get a 2-week free trial with our link only, aura.com/ATOZ. And the Krebs Kubota elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in Columbia, Murfreesboro, and in Franklin. Their website is krebskubota.com. John says if we dressed up today for Halloween, then we maybe would have gotten 5,000 more YouTube subscribers to get to that 20K mark that you're saying there, Zach. And also, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I did see A to Z Sports Film Room's James Foster already has a 5-minute video of Will Levis film already published. And I was like, hey, quick turnaround. Quicker than the Titans turnaround to Pittsburgh on Thursday night ahead of the trade deadline. So I'm going to have that earmarked to watch after the show today. But Zach, it is NFL trade deadline day. 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern is that deadline. And rumors have been swirling around Derrick Henry for about a week just to kind of reset everything. Last Monday morning, after the Titans came off the bye week, pre-Kevin Byard trade, no calls had been received by the Titans about running back Derrick Henry. They did receive calls about Kevin Byard and one about Treylon Burks. Byard gets traded to the Eagles last Monday afternoon. And since then, the Baltimore Ravens became the most interested team in Derrick Henry. That was Buck's report last Wednesday, that they were, the Ravens, the most interested team in inquiring Derrick Henry. But
I want to stop real quick because I do think that brings up a point that is hilarious. When it was reported by A to Z Sports, look, growing sports digital media company, I understand, especially in the landscape of the national media, but I did see on Twitter a ton of Ravens fans like, what the hell is A to Z Sports? What do they even know? Who's this company? Whatever. And so now, there is some like, hey, what do you know? We were
right in our right still.
Yeah, and look, we didn't say it was going to happen. We didn't say that it did happen. We said that was the conversation, and it actually got legs. I mean, you heard on national broadcasts that they were talking about the Ravens and Derrick Henry, and so it really got some legs. So kudos to Buck and the reporting that A to Z Sports did on that, because it took off because it was true. We did our journalistic responsibilities to make sure that we had good sourcing, and it ended up that the Ravens were in fact interested, and they still are. The deadline hasn't happened, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. Crazier things have happened. Now, there's a trend of probably where it's going to go, but the Ravens needed a running back, and they found interest in Derrick Henry, and that's kind of where it started.
The Ravens still need a running back. And, so it's still.
I kind of hope they don't get it because I have Gus Edwards on my fantasy team.
Well, yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's why you don't want Derrick Henry traded.
That's the reason. Personal.
Right. So, look, it all came down to compensation. And Buck reported in that report that it was going to take, the Titans buying a better draft pick, and the fact of the Titans trying to take more of Derrick Henry's remaining salary for a higher draft pick for whoever might trade for Derrick Henry. And then Adam Schefter reporting on Monday afternoon that any long shot chance of a potential Derrick Henry deal diminished even further at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Monday Central, when the deadline passed for him to restructure his contract ahead of Tuesday's deadline. Henry has $5.5 million left on his deal for this season. A quote tells Adam Schefter, I don't think it's going to happen, per source. So, Zach, do you have any reactions on that?
Well, it's understandable that a team would want a running back like Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry still has it. I mean, we just saw that literally on Sunday, over 100 yards rushing, and it wasn't one of like the singular big play. It was consistent downhill runs, made up 100 yards, and can be a threat in the red zone, can be a game breaker. We've seen that. So I'm not surprised that the interest is there, but there's nuance and logistics involved when it comes to a trade, right? That's why they start early. They start days before the deadline, and that's where Schefter reports that yesterday was a big deal, because at that point you have to make all of the pieces connect, right? And if they don't, whether it's salary, whether it's compensation, you have to make them connect. So I do think that was a big deal that they got past what Schefter reported, because money is involved for the deal to be done. And I also think, and I think we all think, this is like barring surprise, the BS report that Jeremy Fowler, says. I say barring surprise on everything you say, but barring surprise, Will Levis impacted this decision. If Will Levis would have gone there and thrown 4 picks instead of 4 touchdowns, and the Titans would have gotten blown out, and all of a sudden they're 2-5, I think this is a very different day.
I don't agree. Let's talk about that.
I don't agree that there is more, and I'm talking about from the outsider's perspective. There are more teams that are probably picking up the phone and calling because they look at the Titans saying this team is now 2-5 instead of 3-4. They probably perceive them different.
I disagree in that, and I'll tell you why specifically. But first, I need you to tell me about Farm Bureau health plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, and I'm super happy with my health plan. You and your family can change your health plan by getting a quote today at Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee. They've been in business over 75 years. They're trusted in the state of Tennessee. If you live in the state of Tennessee, where I know a lot of people do, you live in the state of Tennessee, they got 200 plus locations across the state, health, dental, and vision. That's Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee. They're sponsors of the Tennessee Titans. You can see that at their stadium. I mean, they've got branding there. They are trusted. You can trust them. I trust them. FBHP, that's Farm Bureau Health Plans, FBHP.com/ATOZ. Go get a quote today.
And with BetMGM, you can always win big with BetMGM, but even bigger with their best first bet offer that's out there. Up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses, but only when you sign up with our code ATOZ Sports. That's only with ATOZ Sports. And hey, BetMGM, they are the official sportsbook partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. It is basketball time here in the fall, but you can win big with bonus code ATOZ Sports with the king of sportsbooks, and go big on that first bet because you get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only, new customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and other requirements. First online rule, money wager only. Rewards issued in knowledgeable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. And for problem, get sport, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. So Zach, you just said before I went to the tease there that if Will Levis would have thrown 4 interceptions instead of 4 touchdowns, and the Titans are 2-5 instead of 3-4, you think more teams would have been picking up the phone to call the Titans about Derrick Henry Monday and today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason why I disagree, I don't think the outcome of the Titans game against the Falcons changed the Titans' mind on trading Derrick Henry or not trading Derrick Henry. They were open to trading Derrick Henry before they won, and they're still open to listening and trading Derrick Henry if the right compensation comes their way after they won against the Falcons.
Do you disagree that more teams wouldn't call?
I'm getting to that in a second. I'm going linear here. I don't think more teams would have called because more teams weren't calling, and there were reports out there that the Dallas Cowboys reached out to the Titans and inquired about Derrick Henry. Buck reported that was false. That did not happen. And so really, there has only been one team with reported interest in the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry. And I'm not saying, oh, the Bills are a good fit. The Cowboys are a good fit. Media people saying, oh, the Browns could be a good fit. I'm not talking about good fits. I'm talking about teams with reported interest in Derrick Henry. There has only been one, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Not the Cowboys, not the Bills, not the Browns. It's the Baltimore Ravens. And that's the only team.
You fundamentally does not make any sense.
I
Is that
disagree.
if they would have lost, and this is what I said, that no other teams would have called the Titans with interest because of that.
I disagree. Because there was not much. There was no interest in Derrick Henry before they traded Kevin Byard, and they trade Kevin Byard, and one team picked up the phone and called all last week. One
Austin,
team.
Here's where I believe
away
that
their
you
most
are
valuable
absolutely
asset.
incorrect.
I
the
disagree.
Titans go from a guaranteed out of contention team at 2-5. So now other teams are going to call out of contention teams. Their goose is cooked. They're done. It didn't happen, right? But at 2-5, the Titans cannot win the division. They ain't catching Jacksonville. And especially if, and this is where I preface ifs and buts, beers and nuts. You don't usually do that, but I believe in this take. That's why they pick up the phone and start calling. So look, it doesn't matter because we're never going to know.
I'm telling you.
I think that you don't make any sense.
I'm telling you what I know.
You're illogical in your thinking.
I'm telling you what I know with what Buck has reported.
I'm not asking you what you know. I'm saying you are illogical in your thinking of that more teams wouldn't call if they were 2-5.
That's because they haven't been. No, they're not.
Yeah, I know they haven't been. That's not what I said.
So no disrespect to Trey. He says, I've heard about 4: Browns, Bills, Ravens, Cowboys. Those have been the teams that have been like, oh, who would be good fits for Derrick Henry? I'm not talking about that. We're talking about teams with interest.
I also think, and let's just be honest, you or I don't 100% know who has and who has not called. We know that about the Ravens, but you cannot say that, like you just said defiantly, that no other team has called. We don't know if they have or if they have not, but I don't think you can defiantly say. I do want to get something out of the way for the Cowboys. Everybody at every single trade deadline, there is the Cowboys probably need it because the Cowboys are always at that precipice because they got Jerry Jones as the owner. That happens every single year. So you can set that aside. But you cannot defiantly say what I think you said. We have no idea who has and has not called or had been in contact. We do know about the Ravens. We do know about the reports that have happened. And I do know at 2-5, more people are picking up the phone to call the Tennessee Titans because they are sellers. They're not 2-5. They're 3-4.
But Derrick Henry is different.
Through 4 touchdowns, and they're in a different spot.
But Derrick Henry is different. He is not Kevin Byard that fits in everybody else's defense. Derrick Henry doesn't fit in everybody's offense. We know that. Derrick Henry also has $5.5 million left on his contract.
Derrick Henry is a weapon to help teams win Super Bowls.
Yeah, but he also helps. Yeah, but he also could make you change something. Again, like that's the whole big weird thing with Derrick Henry in the Titans situation. He's
never played for another team, so we have no idea, right? Like he's never played for anybody else.
But Zach, last Monday when we asked about this, you said the same thing. We both did not think Derrick Henry had a market because of how he would make another team alter their offense to fit what he is. He is square peg, round hole.
I didn't say he didn't have a market.
We both said last week that we did not expect Derrick Henry to have much of a trade market because of how unique he is.
Wrong. I'll tell you what I said. I said that I didn't expect the Titans to trade Derrick Henry. I thought they should field calls, but I did not think that they should trade him. That's what I said. I know what I said. I said it. But I didn't say what you just said that I said I did.
Okay. Well,
that's true.
All right. Joe says, what will A to Z Sports talk about after the trade deadline? Slow news week? No, we would talk about Will Levis potentially being the starter in the future. Then we'll talk about the Titans Thursday night football game against Pittsburgh. Joe, yeah, you're irrelevant.
Joe, is this your first rodeo, bud?
Yeah. What are you talking about, dude? Slow news week? No, this is like the busiest news week in the world. And we've got too much stuff and not enough time, Joe. So there you go, Big Joe. All right. So moving forward.
Joe don't know.
Should the Titans still consider this though? Because I also don't think that the outcome of the game against the Falcons and that Will Levis threw 4 touchdowns, I don't think that changes the Titans' mind on if the right offer comes across their phone line that they wouldn't pull the trigger on moving Derrick Henry. Because What are you going to get for Derrick Henry after the season? You're probably going to let him walk and get nothing.
Well, this goes into the politics that we're about to get into. There is a hierarchy and some political drama, in my opinion, that goes on when decisions are made about key superstar players, right? And that's kind of what has been reported over the last 24 hours, or has and has not, right? And I think that plays a part into this. There's obviously, let's agree on something. There has been legs that Derrick Henry could be moved, right?
Yes.
That's a general statement. But the fact that that is true lies in last year of his contract. The Titans had a losing record heading into this weekend. They're coming off of a bye, and their starting quarterback was hurt. So, all of those things make sense on why Derrick Henry, a very good football player that can help a team, was at the forefront of trade conversations. Now, things have evolved and changed over the last 48 hours. So, in a lot of different ways, and I think it goes to decision makers. I think some things have changed with decision makers, and that goes to the conflicting reports that happened yesterday.
Yeah, so let's get to the reports that came out yesterday. And this is from Cole Jackson, who covers the Baltimore Ravens independently. Cole also is a guest contributing writer to the Baltimore Ravens official website, which I know, Zach, to be a thing that the Ravens do, because A to Z Sports, as Ravens people are asking, hey, who the hell is A to Z? Whenever we reported that the Ravens were the only team showing the most interest in Derrick Henry last week, that I do know from our interviews and search for more writers this summer that the Baltimore Ravens do, in fact, hire independent reporters to write for their website. Cole Jackson is one of those. He apparently covers the NFL draft for the BaltimoreRavens.com. But Cole said, per sources, the Ravens and Titans had a deal in place for Derrick Henry. That deal was vetoed by the Titans owner. And then Paul Kaharski follows up, says, on Amy Adams Strunk vetoing a deal for Derrick Henry, : not true, period, right there. So, Zach, I don't know who Cole Jackson is. Cole Jackson is not anybody we interviewed over the summer, but he does write for the Baltimore Ravens website, and he does have a legitimate following. But clearly, Paul, who has really strong Titan sources, I don't know how strong Cole Jackson's Ravens sources are, but Paul saying not true that Amy Adams Strunk did not veto a deal in place, right? I think there's a deal in place is a pretty strong report. Don't you think?
Yeah.
And real quick, Kenny brings up, Buck said that was BS. Yes, Buck was able to go back and to confirm that, yes, that did not happen. But we'll talk about the indecisiveness here in a second, was what else Buck said and learned last night.
In place is different than on the table, right?
Yeah, right.
Those are two different things.
In place means somebody under Amy Adams Strunk said, yes, we want to do this. Let me call the owner. And the owner said, no.
And just like, the Ravens fans didn't know who A to Z Sports were, I'm familiarizing myself with Cole Jackson, his reporting, right? They're also looking for a story, right? I believe, though, Paul Kaharski and our sources, if they dug into this, which I know that they did, and reported that that was not true, I believe that. And so I do believe that Amy Adams Strunk, she didn't sit there and nix a deal that was in place or whatever. So I take that into consideration based on history of reporting.
Yeah, Edwards says she should have vetoed the AJ Brown deal. Yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Best receiver in the league right now by far, head and shoulders above.
I want a 30 for 30 on that one day.
Oh my
Maybe
God!
We'll do
Sign
that.
me up. Sign me up. That sounds good.
Well, I want to ask. I want to sit down with John Robinson and ask what was going on. We get John Robinson. You get Mike Vrabel. You get Monty Austin Fort. You get Amy Adams Strunk. You all get them in a round table and say, all right, how did this whole thing went down? And then this is what you do. This is marketing 101. You have them answer these questions. And then about a third of the way through, we've got a special guest. Enter AJ Brown through the back. And they sit down and we all talk about what happened. Now, you just hope that AJ Brown doesn't have a green Super Bowl ring on his finger by
and
the
a
time
gold jacket.
filmed. And
AJ
then
walks in
Bayard
with
comes into play.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. All right. So we just went on a Family Guy tangent there for a second. But anyway, so going back to the Cole Jackson report of deal in place, but Amy Adams Strunk vetoed it. Paul Kaharski and also Buck saying that that did not necessarily happen. But why would Cole Jackson get the information to go with this, right? Per sources, the Ravens and Titans had a deal in place for Henry. It was vetoed by Amy Adams Strunk. So who does this benefit? Whenever news comes out, who does this benefit? I think Cole Jackson, who has history writing for the Baltimore Ravens website, gets sources that the Ravens wanted Derrick Henry. It's not going to happen. And so that they wanted to figure out how they can move this forward and move on by telling their fans, man, we had it in place, but it wasn't our final say, right?
We tried.
That's
It wasn't us. It was them. We wanted him. We were prepared.
It was right there. All we had to do was make it was like the paperwork was done. The compensation was agreed to, but the owner, man, it was their owner. She said no. It was the final veto. It's like, when a kid goes up and says, hey, can I go spend the night over at so-and-so's house? And it's like to ask your mother because I don't want to be the one to say no kind of deal. Like it's that whole thing. Right. And so they asked mom, Amy Adams Strunk, and mom said, no, you can't. So Dad, I tried. I said, I gave it. It's up to your mother, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's when the kid goes up to his mom and says, Dad said it was okay. He just wanted reassurance
Yeah,
that you were okay with it, Mom.
Yeah, Dad's going to drop me off. Are you cool with that? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then you just play. Yeah, you parent trap that thing. All right, so let's get to this, though, because I do find this to be a very fascinating conversation about the indecisiveness that's happening in the Titans front office and the organization regarding the potential moving on from Derrick Henry. Who should have final say in the potential trade of Derrick Henry with the Titans? Who should have the final say in the potential trade of Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans? But first, let me tell you guys about Aura. Aura protects my information online, and our sponsor, Aura, should protect your information online because they do a phenomenal job at that. When I signed up with Aura back in April, still rocking with Aura now as we get into November tomorrow. But Aura, our sponsor, they protect my information. That they identified 30 data brokers who were selling and profiting off of my information back in the spring, and they opted me out of those lists on my behalf. It only took like 5 or 6 days for Aura to strip away that information from those 30 data brokers. And we're giving you a 2-week free trial. That's 2 free weeks with Aura by going to our link only, aura.com/ATOZ. That's aura.com/ATOZ. Once you get the data brokers out of there, no more spam calls, no more junk emails. I've seen the difference in Aura. Then you go into password protection and management, identity theft, and protection with your credit as well. Aura.com/ATOZ for a 2-week free trial. Hit up our sponsor, Aura, today.
A to Z Sports, we're powered by BetMGM. I just want to air my grievances to the entire Las Vegas Raiders franchise for that abomination that they put on last night. And Devontae Adams didn't catch a touchdown, didn't catch 5 receptions, didn't do any of that. And so that lost my parlay on BetMGM. We live to see another day. The Raiders got problems. The Lions look pretty good, but the Raiders got problems. Bonus code ATOZ Sports, king of the sports books. Download the BetMGM app today. You can get on the action all week long. World Series still going on, the NBA, and football on the horizon.
All right. So, Zach, we asked the question, who should have final word in the Titans trading away Derrick Henry? I'm going to have you get to the chat here momentarily on this, but there is indecisiveness within this Titans front office on this topic. And Buck reported and wrote about that last night, A2ZSports.com, and discussed it on A to Z Sports Primetime. The Tennessee Titans have a valuable piece in Derrick Henry that is putting butts in seats, selling merchandise, and creating interest in your football team locally and nationally on an expiring contract in a depreciating position like the running back position going into Derrick Henry turning 30 years old at the beginning of 2024. January 4th is his birthday, where he'll be 30. So last year of his contract, who should have the final word? Because the Titans are confused about this internally themselves. So, Zach, I'll send you to the chat, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, where everybody liked the show too, by the way. Hit that thumbs up button. So what is everybody saying on who should have final word in the potential trading away of Derrick Henry?
I think it's a really good question. I don't know. We're about to find out what the chat says. I don't know what you're going to say. I do know what I'm going to say. Rooney says ran. Billy goes Amy, Miss Amy from Jaron. Mom from Clayton, a.k.a. Amy. Fred says Amy. Derrick Henry from Jake. So there he's going. I guess we didn't put any specifics on it, but there you go.
We did not. Derrick Henry is maybe the right-in answer on the ballot, but not a bad answer there.
Duran says ran. Derek should from Jabu. So there, that's an interesting thing. Vrabes from Richie. Amy from Cameron. Ram, he is the GN. Ran from Curtis, the GM. That's why you hired him. Amy Adams Strunk from Steven. Amy only. Zoe says ran. For Derrick Henry, it's Miss Amy, and that's what we're asking. Ran is the man. Amy for sure. Amy from Jarrett. Willie says Amy. The owner, Mike Vrabel. There's a couple of Vrabels there from Samuel King right there. Danny says ran. Vrabel from Dwayne. Brian says Amy. Miss Amy from Rashid. Ran from Amanda. Amy Adams Strunk from COS 66. I think Amy has won the chat, but Ran is right there. And then Vrabel, here's the unique situation because Vrabel is longer tenured, right? Rand just got hired to make personnel decisions, and Amy is the controlling owner. And Derrick Henry is the player.
Yeah, I want to go so who should have final say in trades like this? Because the Titans just traded away Kevin Byard a week ago, right? Kevin Byard was not nearly the face of the franchise like Derrick, but Kevin Byard, the best tradable asset, the mayor of Murfreesboro, massive in the community, doing a lot of different things. And it was just not long ago where Amy Adams Strunk was standing out at St. Thomas Sports Park and presenting Kevin Byard with his retired number 20 at MTSU, along with the MTSU AD and head coach, and Amy Adams Strunk giving it, right? So Amy Adams Strunk clearly allowed that to happen, right? So Derrick is also a very highly valued member of this franchise.
Derrick's different than
I said all of that. I said Derrick is different before I went through that, but that's just a reminder that Amy is very involved in this, and players love Amy, and Amy loves the players, right? So, Zach, what is your answer? Who should have final word in the Titans trading away Derrick Henry?
Amy Adams Strunk, the owner of the franchise. When it comes to the face of the franchise, when it comes to, and Derrick Henry is the face of the franchise, Amy has veto power, essentially. And that's how companies work. When something happens, the owner has final say. And we've obviously gone through and said that didn't happen, right? So this is just a separate question than what had been reported on yesterday.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when it comes to the face of the franchise, no matter if it's right or wrong, I also want to emphasize that because her father, Bud Adams, wrong decision, got Vince Young. That's his decision. He's drafting the player. Sometimes it's the right decision. I'm sure in the history of the NFL, an owner has made a decision to bring in a player. Woody Johnson probably made the decision to bring in Aaron Rodgers. That could have been the right decision. Unfortunately, it got hurt, right? Amy Adams Strunk has the final say because her title, controlling owner. She controls the checks. She controls, and I do believe that a good owner should allow their workers to work, their employees to do their job. But in certain massive decisions, in certain circumstances like this one, the owner has final say because she has the most invested in the business. She is liable. She has the revenue generation. She has everything. That is Amy Adams Strunk's final say for this question.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you said about, Amy.
Because it's the correct answer.
Look, and Bork says, can Austin veto Zach or Zach veto Austin? Whenever we have these decisions, you have conversations and you try to come out with a mutual answer on how this works.
And that is a little different, right? So you've got two people that have to have a conversation and make a decision for the company. Amy has to do the same thing, but when pen hits paper, it is Amy's final say. So the grandkids can say what they want. It's on paper. If Amy does not want to trade Derrick Henry, she can say that. That's how the Titans are structured.
That's where the controlling owner comes into play, because she's not the only owner, right? There's ownership stake split amongst percentages. She's got the biggest percentage, but she's also got the decision-making power. So my answer on this is, and I think the best thing that Amy Adams Strunk has done since taking over as controlling owner of the Tennessee Titans is allowing her football people to make the football decisions. She puts her foot down when she needs to. But I also like, and firing John Robinson and moving on from Mike Mularkey and moving on from Rustin Webster, even after winning a playoff game, and going and hiring Mike Vrabel and making the decision on when to move on from John, right? And bringing in Rand. The answer is not Rand Carthon, right? I think we know that. Rand Carthon's job is to support Mike Vrabel. That is what Rand has said since taking the job. And they want to collaborate. That's the word, that buzzword of the offseason, collaboration. I think the final word, Zach, is going to go to Mike Vrabel, because I think Amy Adams Strunk will ask if there is a conversation where they have an offer that is enticing enough to bring the three minds together, where it is Amy, it is Vrabel, and it is Rand. Amy goes to Rand, says, is the trade compensation valuable? Rand says, yes, check mark. Amy then turns to Mike Vrabel and says, is this the best thing for the football team to move on from Derrick Henry now, and what you have right now to win, and for the future with what you're trying to win games with and win championships with? And I think Amy Adams Strunk will listen to what Mike Vrabel says.
I'll just ask this question.
I think she will.
What happened with AJ Brown?
I don't know.
Because Mike Vrabel, and things have changed since then.
Sure.
But Mike Vrabel's body language was not that he was listened to.
And I think there's a massive difference, because collaboration, like I mentioned, has been the buzzword. And I think,
but they said the same BS
when
John Robinson was there.
I really think that there is a lot of, there were decisions made over the last, listen for a second. There were decisions made over the last 3 years between John Robinson and Mike Vrabel that were very much John Robinson decisions that Mike Vrabel did not want to do. Julio Jones being one of them. Julio Jones was a John Robinson move because he wanted to show the all-in, make the trade on the pontoon boat on the lake in the summer, and Mike Vrabel did not want to make that move. And there are other things like that, whether it's draft picks, whether it's free agent signings like Vic Beasley, Bud Dupree. There's some moves that were made by John Robinson that Vrabel did not go to bat for. And I do think that after the AJ trade was a pendulum swing for this franchise. I think now Mike Vrabel has more power.
It was also a pendulum swing for Mike Vrabel?
No doubt. I mean, I think that was very clear when John Robinson was fired on December 6th of 2022. On a Tuesday afternoon, John Robinson fired. Mike Vrabel, by default, won that power struggle. That wasn't really a power struggle at the time. But ever since Rand was hired, collaboration. So
you think Rand is third on this totem pole?
Without a doubt. That is the thing I am most confident in, that Rand Carthon is third in this 3-person power ranking.
Interesting. Because that's
I think but look, I think
perceived to be set up.
For sure. But the head coach is the established coach of the year, head coach, won playoff games, won divisions, winning record, leader of men, Patriots Hall of Fame player, 3-time Super Bowl champ player, established guy that Rand brought in to pick the groceries, because Rand was a scout, a developer, and a spotter of talent. And that goes with your established head coach. I think the power is, when you're talking about football decisions, It's whatever Vrabel wants, Rand goes gets. That's what I think right now. And I think Amy Adams Strunk, like I said earlier, she lets her football people make football decisions. I think Amy would defer to Vrabel in this situation.
Who should have the final word on the Titans trading away Derrick Henry? Who should?
I think it's Mike Vrabel.
You think Mike Vrabel should have the final decision on Derrick Henry?
I think Amy defers to Vrabel.
No.
Okay.
Mike Vrabel gets paid by Amy Adams Strunk. Mike Vrabel probably one day, I don't know when that will be fired by Amy Adams Strunk.
But this is that's
fundamentally incorrect.
Coaches get hired to get fired, sure, but football decisions. This is not a business decision.
No, this is a face of the franchise decision. This is not the football decision, Austin. That's the point. Derrick Henry, that is on Verizon commercials, on Old Spice commercials, on State Farm commercials, on all of the billboards, that is the jersey, wears sweater vests without undershirts. The guy is the face of the Tennessee Titans. He's the face of Tennessee. He's bigger than John Morant because John Morant ain't playing. He's bigger than Tennessee and Joe Milton right now. Derrick Henry is that dude. And the face of the franchise future is decided by the controlling owner of said franchise.
That's fine. That's fine. I think Amy would defer to Vrabel. I think Amy would defer to Mike Vrabel on this. But hey,
she may ask his opinion, but when as you just talked about all of the decisions that Amy Adams Strunk has made over the years, she's a bad mamma jamma at times.
Hell yeah.
She'll make that decision without anybody asking her or influencing her. Ultimately, it's her decision, and this goes to be the same thing.
All right. Hey, hell of a show today here live. Let's get to a couple of super chats real quick. Adrian says, Rand deserved more praise. He literally hit every want/need from this past offseason and set up for the future with virtually nothing. I mean, has Rand done a good job? I mean, you're not saying this before Will Levis throws 4 touchdown passes, and Andre Dillard, who they gave $21 million to guaranteed, is already benched at left tackle. I don't think you go that far, Adrian, but Rand Carthon had a hard job coming into the job. Has he done well? I mean, he's so far, he's not, it's a pass-fail line. I think he's passing, right?
Too soon, right? Adrian, let's see what he does with the $90 million this offseason, right? Let's see how he gets out of the Tannehill, Derrick Henry era. He's already started, right? It's
easier to make mistakes when you got a lot of money.
Right. And so, John Robinson, you would have said the same thing about John Robinson's start, right? With drafting A.J. Brown and some of the moves. Now, Kevin Dodd was awful, but he had some hits. Derrick Henry being a future Hall of Fame running back, like that remained to be seen. A little early for that.
Yeah. Silas, super chat. Got my A to Z blue shirt yesterday that Zach has on right now. All right. Love it. Wearing it now. Post it and tag you guys on Facebook. So comfortable. Thanks for the 40% off. Yeah, let's flash that up there on the screen real quick.
Well, and thanks to our winner yesterday in the age game, because I don't know if that would have happened if we wouldn't have had a champion.
That's right. 40% off all of our merch. Shop.atozsportsnashville.com is where to go. Our merch is moving. When it sells out of those sizes, that's all we got. So
we're hiking prices.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
All right. So Zach, we've talked a lot about the Derrick Henry reports. Again, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern is the NFL's trade deadline. Stick with A to Z Sports and our social media, our website, atozsports.com for all of the trade deadline happenings. We did get an interesting comment from Mike Vrabel yesterday about the quarterback position. So let's go ahead and hear from Mike Vrabel about Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill. Kind of controversial here.
Well, we'll see where Ryan is. We haven't done anything with him here yet today, so we'll see how he is. But, I think we probably would say that if Ryan can't go, I mean, we'll move forward with Will, and then we'll see, where Ryan is. Again, it is a short week, but also we'll have to, see who is available to us at every position.
How was Ryan the last time you maybe saw him?
How was Ryan?
Yeah.
No, he's good. I mean, supporting the quarterbacks and doing what he could do to help us win on Sunday. It was obviously physically wasn't ready, and so again we'll have to do some more stuff with him today and evaluate where he's at.
Does it help at all, just in terms of Levis coming into the performance he had, maybe not having to rush back Ryan Tannehill though?
I don't want to look at that as a determining factor of how fast players get back. We just need to get everybody back available and then make decisions at every position on who can play and who can't, and then what the game plan looks like and how we can try to go on the road and try to find a way to beat Pittsburgh.
So if Ryan's healthy, he's the star. Ryan is healthy. If Ryan healthy, he's the guy still. Is that still the case even after Will's performance here over the weekend?
Until Ryan's healthy, I don't think that I'm ready to make a determination. I think that's something that could be a possibility. But again, we're talking about hypotheticals, and we'll get Ryan healthy and see where things are at then.
All right, we'll get Ryan healthy and see where things are at then. It could be a possibility. Interesting comments from Mike Vrabel. We'll react to those here in a second. It's got some chat coming in here too about it. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute, that's where you should turn with any type of injury. With Ryan Tannehill's ankle sprain, we did a great doc talk with Dr. Jeff Watson, foot and ankle expert and specialist at the Bone and Joint Institute. Talked about the tightrope surgery and how that will actually help Ryan Tannehill get back to playing quicker this year than last year because he had the surgery a year ago. So the Bone and Joint Institute, they can help you out. Whatever that injury is that occurs in life, don't let that injury become a major inconvenience in your life. Go get it checked out, get it taken care of. Surgery, hopefully not, but if you need it, Bone and Joint's got you all under one roof in Franklin, online, boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM, they power us. They're the title sponsor, and they've been that way for a while. You need to download this app, and if you haven't, go ahead and hit the App Store, Apple or Android. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. They're the king of the sports book. And when you use that bonus code, which is huge, you get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses for new users. Bonus code ATOZ Sports. We love BetMGM. Download the app today.
All right, so we're going to get to our question here in a second, but I do want to play the short version of what Vrabel said right there at the end about Ryan Tannehill. So let's go back to Mike Vrabel here momentarily.
If Ryan healthy, he's the guy still. Is that still the case even after Will's performance here over the weekend?
Until Ryan's healthy, I don't think that I'm ready to make a determination. I think that's something that could be a possibility, but again, we're talking about hypotheticals, and we'll get Ryan healthy and see where things are at then.
So, Zach, that was yesterday after Will Levis throws 4 touchdown passes in his debut, and the Titans get to 3-4 by beating the Falcons. This was Mike Vrabel asked the same question by the same reporter, John Glennon, after they get back from London before the bye week.
The guy, or is there any?
Yeah, Ryan. No, Ryan. If he can go, Ryan be a quarterback.
That's a big difference.
Changed. Things
right?
changed.
Yeah,
Here's
been
what
10 days, right? 10 or so days between those two comments.
Here's what I think about what Mike Vrabel is doing, and this is under his job description. He is being a protector. He's protecting his future decisions. He's protecting his young quarterback. He's protecting his veteran quarterback. I don't think he's protected Malik Willis, but I think he's protected Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill, his offense, his offensive coordinator, and his franchise that he is the head coach of. And I think he has said all of the things. He's not committed to anything because and he knows that you can get your words twisted real quick, and he doesn't want to do that. So I think he's playing it probably the best that he possibly can with the information that he has. After London, I think we would have said the same damn thing, right? That he would have said. And after Will Levis's performance, I don't know if we would have said the same thing, but he is doing his job to protect his football team.
Yeah, no doubt. It's very, he's not going to say Levis is going to start. I think the fact that they play Thursday night is leaning towards Will Levis getting the start because it just hasn't been enough time. And we talked about this right after the London game when Tannehill got hurt, that the trade deadline being squeezed between a Sunday game after a bye week and a Thursday night game coming up, that's just a really tough logistical scheduling nightmare for the Titans. They're not as flexible as they could have been if they didn't play until Sunday this upcoming week, not 4 days earlier.
Well, and Vrabel is notorious of playing media games. He always plays media games, and he's been playing media games since he became head coach. We don't know who's going to play. Well, it's a game time decision. We're still figuring it out. It's Friday. I'm not going to make that move. Right? Like I've heard this. It's literally in my brain over and over and over again. So I don't expect him to completely change now that the most important decision is now on the table when it comes to the quarterback. He's going to continue, and I call them media games because that's what they are, is the media asks some questions and he plays games. And sometimes he's a good mood, sometimes he's in a bad mood. Sometimes he gives information, sometimes he plays it close to the vest. But he's notorious for that, so I'm not surprised. I think it brings up a lot of conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing is it depends. And I think that's what he was insinuating with his answer is it probably depends how Will Levis plays. I'll give you an example. Ifs and buts, beers and nuts. We talked about Will Levis throwing 4 touchdown passes versus 4 interceptions. If he throws 4 interceptions in back-to-back games and they lose against the Steelers and the Buccaneers and Ryan Tannehill has the ability to come back, it's pretty obvious where he's going to go.
Against the Jags, right? On the road, divisional game, right?
Right. And they'd be in a completely different spot. Well, they'd be 3-6. 7.
3-6 going into the Jags game.
Yeah, 3-6. Yeah. So everything depends, but you drafted Will Levis for a reason, right? And Austin, that was Mike Vrabel's final decision based on what you were saying, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you said that that's the guy that has the final say.
No, I think, Rand Carthon's job is to get the best players for Mike Vrabel, and is Will Levis. Will Levis had to be you don't draft a quarterback without a joint thing. Like that would be stupid. I don't know.
Ask the Carolina Panthers and Frank Wright. That's not how it works.
Yeah. But no, I think, yes, Mike Vrabel had to be okay with the drafting of Levis for it to happen.
Okay is different
on
than
board,
picking.
whatever. Like significantly on board to trade up to go get Will Levis, no doubt. All right, so let's ask this question, Zach, because I find this just to be, overall interesting when it comes to the situation. Should Ryan Tannehill lose his starting job to Will Levis because of an injury? Should Ryan Tannehill lose his starting job to Will Levis because of an injury? We'll get to your comments here in a second. But first, Krebs Kubota is where you should go for any of your equipment needs. KrebsKubota.com. They are an elite Kubota dealer with the best equipment in the industry, the best warranties in the industry. And you got to have great warranties when you got big equipment like tractors and you've got utility vehicles, all the power units that Krebs Kubota has. You have to make sure you got those for your property, for your projects around your home, commercial or residential. But hey, maybe you just want to rent something for a weekend project. You can do that with Krebs Kubota as well. Maybe it's the holidays coming up and you want to nudge the person who's in charge of projects around the house and say, hey, you got to be better this spring around the house. Go to KrebsKubota.com. They'll hook you up with the right equipment for you, with the best warranties and the best customer service. 3 locations, Columbia, Franklin, and in Murfreesboro. Online, KrebsKubota.com.
We are powered by BetMGM, and we mentioned earlier, a lot of people are running to the merch store, which there's a reason to. We got 40% off all merch. Our merch is moving, so we're kind of having a little bit of a fire sale over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people getting them, which is good. I wear an A to Z Sports shirt literally 5 days a week, so you can too. A to Z Sports Nashville. So shop.atozsportsnashville.com. If you are a fan of the show, you can get there, 40% off. And it's already done. There's no promo code, so we already made it easy on you. Sizes, we have some sizes, sometimes sizes we don't. But all shapes and sizes, we have some availability for you.
All right, so Zach, go to the chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, like the show while you're at it too. And should Ryan Tannehill lose his starting job to Will Levis because of injury? What's the chat saying on this one?
Steven says yes. Eric says not yet. Let's see. We've got yes from IR. Derek says yes. Kayan says yes. Yup from Richie. Mr. Jones says no. Andre says yes because he sucks. F yes from Nate's burner account. He was terrible beforehand. Anyway, he lost it from Jamie. Let's see here.
Punctuation, please.
Yeah. He lost it because of his play. Well, no, I don't know if he's talking about the same thing. He lost.
No. Ryan Tannehill would have played against the Falcons if he didn't get hurt against the Ravens.
Yeah. Is this seriously a question? It is, Michael. And he's saying yes, but Titans Kyle's saying no. He's losing it because of his play. So I think that's what they're trying to say. Willie says Mo. They are basing it on Levis's play, right? But we've only seen one game. And Ryan Tannehill, let's just be honest, he's not ready to come back this week. We're not going to see Ryan Tannehill, no matter what Mike Vrabel tells you. He's slow playing.
The gaming chef says Bledsoe lost his job due to injury, and it was the best decision the Patriots ever made. Trent Green lost his job due to injury and was the best decision the Rams ever made. That's a hell of a pullback there from the gaming chef.
Right, but that is easy to say, right?
Hindsight. That's hindsight takes, right?
Ryan Fitzpatrick lost his job to Tyler Heineke because of injury. That's not the best decision that is ever made. Like, I know it's easy to look at the Tom Brady.
Desmond Ridder lost his job because he was in concussion protocol to Tyler Heineke on Sunday.
Is that the best decision that the Falcons have ever made?
Not yet.
They still lost the game,
yes.
right? So I it's easy to pick out those. I knew that Bledsoe and Brady were going to come up. I think that's all of the hopes and wants and the pipe dreams of Titans fans. But let's face it, Austin, Tom Brady went on to win a Super Bowl after that. Will Levis has won one game. So we need a larger sample size. I think everybody agrees with that. But, with the question of I think I resonate more with the chat because I go back to what I truly believe. And that is Ryan Tannehill is not your long-term answer. So what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we here for? Are we here to make a Super Bowl run? Are you here to win the division and host a home playoff game? Are you here to play meaningful games in December? Are you here to try to get a wild card bid? Or are you here to gain a developmental quarterback, some experience that you drafted in the second round after trading up? So to answer the question, should Ryan Tannehill lose his starting quarterback job to Will Levis because of injury? Yes. Injury doesn't matter. Ryan Tannehill was going to lose his starting quarterback job for the Tennessee Titans when Will Levis was drafted. Now, because of injury is different, but Will Levis is what you don't know. Ryan Tannehill is what you do know. And what you know about Ryan Tannehill is he can win you some games, but he's not the future.
I agree. I think it's now that you've seen that Will Levis is capable of that on Sunday.
Yeah, it wasn't a one touchdown, 153-yard performance.
Yeah,
it was 250
with
14.
Yeah, with 17 pass attempts, right? It was that. It was
bombs.
Yeah, it was nearly flawless. And so now that you've seen that Will Levis is capable of that, you've got to do the best job for your team in making sure that Will Levis gets as much work and experience and games to feel it out, go through the roller coaster. Because guess what? If Will Levis is capable of that, let's say that's Will Levis's best game. Yeah. But let's say his average is, can put up, this team can score 24 points a game because Will Levis is moving the football. They've got explosive ability, lack of turnovers, good balance, right? then you get year 2, you get 2024. If you find out that Will Levis is capable of that, and you go into the offseason with $90+ million of cap space with a quarterback that you're like, yeah, we can do this. Then you go find yourself a left tackle and kick Andre Dillard out the building. You go find yourself a top corner. You go find yourself on maybe another interior lineman. You go find yourself another receiver to go along with DeAndre Hopkins and Traylon Burks, whatever the hell that becomes. And you go find yourself another running back to go with Tajay Spears. You try to set yourself up to just go spend your $90 million to win the AFC South and beyond in 2024.
And compete consistently with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, because he ain't going anywhere, guys. The Jags aren't going anywhere. They had the benefit of, now they struggled through a number of years, but they had the benefit of the number 1 overall quarterback that had all of the intangibles, right? Nobody questioned Trevor Lawrence, right? No, we would have said, Trevor Lawrence didn't work out because he was playing for a bad franchise for all these years, right? But I don't think anybody, when Trevor Lawrence was drafted, which we knew he was number 1 overall the second that, he left Clemson, that he's not going anywhere. So you need to start competing. CJ Stroud, you got to figure out where he's going to be. The Colts are in a different spot because of the injury to Anthony Richardson, but this division, which we knew, is flipped upside down. And I'm with you, Austin. Here's glass half full, glass half empty. Glass half empty is Ryan Tannehill comes back and starts at some point this year, right?
Now, so Samuel says you can't just go back to Tannehill after what we just saw. Like, it would have to be
a scenario where you can.
Yeah, obviously injury right?
is the easiest way.
Yes, but then there's the fact that if he goes and is absolutely dreadful, and like you went over it, if he's dreadful at Pittsburgh, if he's dreadful at Tampa, and you want a last ditched effort to get back in the division at Jacksonville week 11, you could do that and justify it. But still, at that point, you're 3-6. There's no point in getting to 4-6. Just go let Levis finish it out.
And that the glass half full is, let's just be honest, that's how the Titans look at things. They don't look at things as we need to tear this thing down and rebuild. They believe they can win every game because they have, right? They have won some games that they never should have won, but they have by grit, physicality, hard-nosed playing football, running the football, good timeouts, good special teams, get out of there with a win. That's Mike Vrabel's mentality. You want to talk about Mike Vrabel? I believe that the glass half full perception is that's the lens that the Titans are going to look at this thing, and Levis will be the starter, should be the starter for the foreseeable future. And Austin, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars twice. They beat the Texans. They're back in the running, and they don't have to play as difficult teams as the Jags because they don't play a first-place schedule. Now, all of a sudden, Will Levis has elevated you to a possible wild card bid. Look at the AFC West. There's a bunch of bad teams in the AFC West, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've already beaten the Chargers, by the way. That matters. The Chiefs are going to win that division. You look at the AFC North is your toughest thing, right? Because you've lost to the Browns, you've beaten the Bengals, which is positive. You've lost to the Ravens, which is not good. They're going to win the division anyway. And so now you look at the East. The East, the Jets are going to fall off. It's only a matter of time, boys and girls, right? Unless Aaron Rodgers miraculously comes back and they're still in it. I don't see that happening. The Dolphins and the Bills are both making the playoffs. We know that, all right? The Patriots aren't. So now I've just set the landscape of the AFC. If the Titans can focus on a young quarterback within their division and maybe that 7th seeded wild card spot, it's not out of the realm of possibility in a glass half full world.
No doubt. No doubt about that. All right. So, and then Brent says the good news is Levis will be cheap for the next 3 years and the Titans have a lot of cap space. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. That's why you need to have Will Levis as the starter moving forward. You don't trade Ryan Tannehill. One, I don't think he's got value, and apparently nobody's called the Titans for Tannehill. That was reported yesterday. You need Ryan Tannehill on the team. Now, when Ryan Tannehill's healthy, he wears the ball cap and Malik Willis is the emergency quarterback. At 3. That is your situation. That Malik can play, but only if Tannehill's hurt.
I do
And
have to
Levis is
give
hurt.
kudos to a Big Joe on the go. I don't know if you saw this tweet. This was during the game, I think, and it's Ryan Tannehill in the blue tent, like looking out. I don't know what time
The
is
Chargers game last year.
right. It's Ryan Tannehill looking at Will Levis throw 4 picks from the injury tent, because that's kind of the scenario.
Yeah. Let's get to some super chats here in a second before we get to shade. Super chats coming in. Let's see. Curtis says, what's with all the leaks this year? Have y'all noticed more than usual, or is it just random noise since Twitter verification is so lax? No, I think it's because there's a new GM. You know, John Robinson, Rand Carthon are different. There's been more national reporting with John Robinson out of the building. He was kind of keeping things very tight there. Brandon with a super chat says, Zach hit the nail on the head moment. Nail on the head moment. Vrabel is very discreet this is Vrabel talking about the quarterbacks back and forth. I think he always makes the obvious choice, but wants to protect his guys, like Rand doesn't operate the media. I mean, those 2 super chats kind of go back to back. Kane says, play whoever gives you the best odds to win, which at this point is Will Levis. And then Kane asks, why even call Rand a GM? He doesn't have the same responsibilities as all other GMs.
I think he's in a unique situation because of Vrabel, right?
Yeah.
I disagree with you, Austin, as like the totem pole thing. And I don't, probably not enough time to get into this, but I think Rand has more power than one thinks. But
not more than Vrabel and not more than Amy.
Well, nobody has more power than Amy. I will stick to my guns and say that. Mike Vrabel has the longevity on his side, right? He's been in the
So you can't disagree with what I said then. I said Rand is 3rd in that list.
No, he's 3rd, but I think I felt like you kind of just schluffed him to the side.
He's very clearly 3rd.
I don't believe that he's very clearly 3rd. I think
absolutely.
That, in your opinion, that's fine. Well, you also said that Vrabel makes the Derrick Henry decision, which is asinine.
I think Amy would defer to Vrabel.
But whose decision is it?
Whatever Vrabel answers, I think Amy says.
Oh my God!
We don't need to go back.
Whatever you answer.
That's what. Yeah, I think Amy defers.
No, that's not true.
Amy defers to return the second half kickoff. Come on.
You know that Amy's not saying, Vrabel, what do you think? Whatever you say, we're going to go with.
I in this trading away Derrick Henry hypothetical, yeah, that's where I think it's would happen.
That's my first shade. Let's get to shade.
Andre says Rand being 3rd would mean organization dysfunction. No, that's just like how it was logistically set up. But anyway, now it is time to throw some shade. Bring your shade, hot and heavy. Let's do it. About Wilson County Hyundai. If you're looking for a new ride, go see our friend Payne Bone in Lebanon at Wilson County Hyundai and wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They'll help you out. Great deals in Lebanon at Wilson County Hyundai. We throw shade on Tuesday after towards the end of the show. Zach, do you have shade, or do you want to hit?
I do. I can get my shade out of the way real quick because it's a personal shade. It's something that infiltrated my timeline this morning. There are 2 players in the NBA, and I watch a lot of NBA basketball. That is you on the record, probably too much. I watch a lot of NBA. I mean, I watch it on my phone. I watch NBA basketball. I do player props. I don't like 2 players in the NBA, and they now play on the same team, so I now can't stand the team. James Harden and Russell Westbrook are awful. They stink. I can't stand them. They're ball hogs. That's what they are. They are big old ball hawks. And the problem is like, I don't have a problem with Kawhi Leonard. He's like the strong, silent type that can just drop 35 and take over a game. That's very talented. But I cannot stand James effing Harden. And everybody's like, James Harden wants out. James Harden wants out. And then James Harden, what he does, he gets out of shape and then shows up and then holds out. I'm so over James Harden. I'm not watching the Clippers until the playoffs when I'm forced to. Anti-James Harden, that's my shade, and also anti-Russell Westbrook.
I co-sign your shade on that. That's not my shade, but I do think it's great. Like if I walked into like a free open gym play for like pickup basketball and I see guys like James Harden or Russell Westbrook that play like that, I go home. I'm like, I am not getting any type of good game in. I am done. That is all. I don't need
Those
to
are
waste
the
my time.
worst type of players to play with at pickup. It's
Yeah.
like they don't, and they can make. I mean, James Harden is a good basketball player. I'm not sitting here denying his skill set, but
Yeah, he plays one-on-one. It's
yeah,
a one-on-one game. I don't want to be a
Probably
part of
was
that.
in Houston for 10 years because he could do that. And then
they're
they'd
like,
bring in
"It's
Chris
analytics."
Paul to make him to take away the ball for a second.
Oh, yeah. Throwing shade. Jeff says throwing shade on families that walk/stand 6 people wide and block walkways and have no respect for anyone else. Move the damn side. Yeah, that's a funny shade. Matt says throwing shade at Ryan Day for hiring his brother's PI firm to hack Michigan computers. Talk about an all-time low. Is that a thing? I don't know. I know the Michigan
Assisted
stuff
by Big Ten Jeff.
yeah, Big Ten Jeff's like up there. Big Ten Jeff's like the girl in Criminal Minds who's got the headset with like all the different monitors. Trying
Here,
to
we're over real quick. I need your opinion. Michigan, is that a big deal, small deal, or no deal?
I think it's a big deal. Yeah. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Let's see. More shade here. Oh, I'm trying to scroll. Nathaniel's just throwing shade at Mr. Jones every take. Bork says throwing shade at Dabo for acting like the 80-year-old man yelling, "Get off my lawn." Did you listen or see the 5-minute rant that Dabo Sweeney went on after Tyler from like Statesboro or something called into the Tiger Talk radio show last night?
I didn't listen to all 5 minutes. I was looking for the line that said, like, I'm not a teenager or something.
You don't treat, it was at the very end. It was, don't treat me like a 12-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't get through it.
Trey Wallace has it on Twitter. The question wasn't in there in the clip. It was 5+ minutes. I found myself throughout that 5 minutes going back and forth between agreeing with Dabo and thinking Dabo's a dork. Like back and forth. And he was just throwing out every receipt that he's had in his back pocket for like the last 3 years.
Clemson's down.
Yes. Hey, Danny says shade on the last work week before a long vacation is taken long. Johnny says shade on Rand for trading Kevin Byard. Derek says throwing shade at Nick Wright for his bit about the Titans QB situation last week. He knows zero about the Titans. He doesn't. He is like Pinocchio, except his hair keeps growing and his nose. But he's like,
I was going to say.
Oh gosh! All right,
He's
shade.
a weird looking character.
Yeah,
he's truly a character. He wears like the zoot suits or like the 3-piece suits that you see in the old movies, and
he's quickly transformed. Not quickly, he's slowly transforming into the My Germs guy from the Scary Movie.
Yeah,
slowly transforming into that. My Germs. All right. My shade, I've got 2. One, my AirPods, I don't know what's going on with them, but my AirPods are having a rough week. They keep like I'm on my phone and I'm listening to streaming radio, and then I go to Instagram, I go to a different app. I get a phone call, I watch something on Twitter. Every time the last 3 days, I've changed the app, what I'm listening to go to listen to a video on a different app. It changes my Bluetooth connection. Like if I'm listening to a podcast and then I'm on Twitter to watch a video, the Twitter video will play over my phone speakers, not my AirPods that were just playing the podcast. Like, I don't know what's going on with this. I'm having a bad Bluetooth week. Like, is that a thing? Is there like too many clouds in the sky that's disconnecting I don't know what to do, Zach. Like I've tried to reset my AirPods. They needed time. I put them in timeout for a whole day. But I don't know what's going on with my AirPods.
You can reset your. I'm waiting for in the comments. First world problems. I hate that.
I already got the Android greater than Apple, which is second world comment.
Chris, where are you at, bro?
Not true. But I don't like.
But man, the camera's so much better on the Android,
which is not. It's not. But until Sunday, I have had beautiful AirPod. Like I go back and forth between the car, whatever it is, Great
Yeah,
AirPod.
I think
But
you restart your phone, restart your AirPods, and reset, disconnect, reconnect. That's it.
it's been
Just
like
troubleshoot the whole thing.
I know, like it's been now I'm like answering calls on my computer through my AirPods. I'm like, what the hell's like something happened on Sunday that just threw my Bluetooth connection into a blender. And it's driving me insane. It is the minor inconvenience, absolutely. but it is a disruption of my workflow throughout the entire day.
So James Harden got me distracted, but I wanted to do the shade on, and I probably ask you this every year at Halloween, and I can't remember what you say. Are you pro or anti candy corn?
Pro.
Yeah, you would. Candy corn's nasty.
No, you bite the yellow bottoms off first.
No.
And then
Ugh.
you eat the
Shade. There's shade.
I haven't had candy corn in years, but I'm
Candy
pro
corn's gross. We got hey, power to the people. It looks like the chat's coming. We got yuck, disgusting.
On top of this,
before
because we haven't done fun things in a while, favorite Halloween candy. What's your Halloween candy that you will overeat no matter how old you are? Just doesn't have to be Halloween candy, just candy. What candy will you overeat until the day that you die? I've got my answer. It's the easiest thing. There's no other answer I have that's easier for me to.
Yeah, I mean the easy. I mean, I'm trying to think of like some nuanced ones. The Reese's peanut butter cups are the easy ones, but what is yours?
Gummy bears. I will overeat gummy bears for the rest of my life.
Like package of gummy bears?
However big the pack is, I will eat the whole thing in one.
What if are you saying that somebody comes with a bowl of stray gummy bears that you stick your hand in and put it in the pillow?
No, of course not. Like they have like little gummy bear packet, like the fun size gummy bear packets that have like 8 in them. Whenever I go on a road trip, I go get like the family share size with a Ziploc gummy bear pack, and I put it in the driver car door, and I'm just eating gummy bears the whole way down the road. Gummy bears, man. I can't stop them.
See, I was looking for something unique, and Tiffany has brought it up. The Midnight Milky Way that you never get for 365 days of the year. I can be down with the Midnight Milky Way. Fun size. I don't need, I don't even think I've seen the regular size or king size Midnight Milky Ways. But I'm pro Midnight Milky Way.
Eddie asked Austin, did you ever get a hold of the Albanese gummy bears? No, but I did get Walgreens has a gummy bear brand that's like unreal. Way better than Haribo. I changed my daily men's vitamin to gummies because I love gummy bears so much. So now I get 2 gummies every morning for my men's, vitamins, right? That's how much I love gummy bears.
I'm looking at these, Warheads are a throwback. I'm not a Warhead guy.
But you can't overeat Warheads or you're not going to have any taste buds.
I don't need lockjaw.
Black cherry Warhead. Everybody think about it. Black cherry Warhead. You know what it's now you've got the saliva in your mouth. Congratulations.
Also, and this is probably, I'm getting made fun of, the Mr. Good bars are good. Peanuts and chocolate. It makes sense.
Peanuts and chocolate, undefeated. Also, my chocolate candy bars go in the freezer. I don't know about you. They go in the freezer. Frozen chocolate candy bars are the best.
I'll put like peanut butter cups in the refrigerator.
Freezer, man.
Oh, you talk about freezer? All right. Well, then we got to get out of here.
I got nothing to do today. What are you talking about?
I've got another. I'm back to back. So this is one, and this has nothing to do with candy, but this is a freezer trick. Put some grapes in the freezer.
Yes.
They are a delightful treat.
Yes.
I am on every day at lunch. I get a little small handful of frozen grapes. They make my day. They make me happy. Frozen grapes. That's free advice right there.
The last 3 Titans training camps, come home hot, out in the heat for 5 hours. Frozen grapes are always going to get me back to good.
There you go.
All right, guys. Hell of a show today. Hell of a show yesterday. We'll keep tabs on what's going to happen with with the trade deadline coming up here at 3 p.m. Central Time. Make sure that you're ready for it. And Buck Rising will be live tonight. Make sure you like the show on the way out. And just because it's a quick turnaround, Titan Game Day live Thursday night with me and Sam. Thursday night, Titans at Steelers with me and Sam for pregame, halftime, and postgame show. So get ready for that with a quick turnaround. But first, make sure you do hit that thumbs up button on the way out. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning on a Wednesday post-trade deadline. And also, Buck will have the trade deadline reaction tonight, A to Z primetime at 8. We'll catch you later. Appreciate it as always.